Hello everybody, and a warm welcome to Berringer on this Saturday evening. And today's theme is what's coming up. And basically this means is I haven't actually got a layout update for you as such, but this is basically a video just to sort of give you a bit of a preview of some of the things that will be happening to Berringer over the next few weeks and months really. I'm not exactly sure the exact timescales of things, but all these things will be coming up at some point in the future. So we'll get to the first part. So here we are, the first part of the I wouldn't say update, but what I'm planning on doing is here we are at the road over bridge which overlooks the station, as you can see, just so you can get your bearings as to where we are. And we're going to be looking at some track work and redeveloping it and changing some of the track work that runs along here. Now primarily what I'm going to be doing is currently this is the up main and that's the down, and what happens is that the down has to cross over and feed into the single line track. Right. So what I'm planning on doing is actually to reconfigure this track work excuse me, by basically running this down main all the way across so it joins a curved point down at that end there. So basically we're going to be removing that point and putting a crossover and probably another one there, and basically straighten out the down main so it goes directly down, and that will increase the speed and also just it decreases the risk of derailments and things like that, and it will give a better flow to the layout itself. So we're going to be keeping some of the track work, and then some of it is going to change, so I'm not exactly sure of the exact configuration as such. I think this point here will probably just go, which will be a good thing, and that will put one complete piece, because there was a slight kink here in the track work. I mean, it doesn't really affect the running as such, but you can notice it, so I could be able to straighten that out by removing this point and just putting one straight piece to that piece there. And obviously I'll keep this piece here, this point here, and then replacing that one with a crossover, I think is what they call it, and that will just cross straight over onto that one there. And then that will straighten out the down main. So that's kind of like the first kind of bit that I'm going to be doing. And if I just sort of walk you down towards Moorwood, obviously you can see this bit here, and there's also a point under here. Now this point has been a bit of a pain just because of its access. So I'm going to finally get round to sorting that out and dealing with that. And that will be another piece of track work to be done for that. As we move down to Moorwood itself, just basically some housekeeping for Moorwood, basically to get the rest of these arches done along there, so you can see where that one finishes. You can see the archwork there, and there isn't one there, so that's something that I'd like to be doing, so that would be another bit of housekeeping. Hopefully maybe get some more people, get some people I should say, not some more, but get some people and start populating stations and things like that. Maybe get a platform building. And I've also got the cards to sort of do this, but I just haven't got round to doing it, and basically just to blend this all in. I've been saying this for some time, but I've been working on the track work through here recently, which is probably why I've kind of stalled a little bit. As we walk down towards Offord on the Hill, and you can see the disused main line, we're just going to drop down to the bridge section. Now currently we have this point here, and that point is going to be replaced fairly shortly with a freeway point, and this freeway point will basically mean that this point will be removed, and basically it will create the extra length in order to have longer trains essentially. and that will be how that will work out down that end. So that's something else to be done. So there's all these little bits and pieces that need doing, so I'm going to be doing that. There's also going to be some infrastructure work to be done as well, and I'll show you that shortly. In the meantime, in the mini fiddle yard, which has been tested and running successfully, there hasn't been any issues with derailments, so I'm pretty pleased with the way this has been going. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. So I'm going to show you what the infrastructure work is going to be. So we've now moved over to the other end of the layout, the B&Q, the scenic break end, which leads to the main fiddle yard. And as you can see, it's still a dead end. I haven't really worked it, and this is something that I will be trying to tackle over the summer. And as you can see, I've currently just got a few bits just placed here that I haven't finished, like the bridge I haven't finished, and this is just like my little diorama track. As you can see, there are 10 coaches here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10, so it can fit 10 coaches. However, I'm not going to be doing 10 coaches because basically obviously you need space to put your fingers through them. I mean, these are just literally butted right up against each other. All of these are just here as a test, really, just to see how many lines I could possibly get in here. But I think a more realistic approach is probably going to be about probably about 8, possibly 7 or 8, I should imagine, to be comfortable. But I'm not sure. I should imagine it will be probably about 8. Is probably a good number. Also, as you can see down here, the actual fiddle yard actually finishes here. This is where it finishes. But what's going to happen is it's going to get extended to that back wall, which basically means that the overall length of the fiddle yard from that point down the end to that wall and the scenic break all the way down to this back wall will give it 8.5 feet in total. Currently this is just over 6 foot, so there's another 2.5 feet or so, or just under, to complete that section. So that's obviously going to be the infrastructure work where I'm going to have to build that and marry that all up. So that's going to be another little task. Well, not so little, but quite a big task. But I'm up to the job, and we can start putting the scenic side, the track down for the fiddle yard, so we can actually start running some trains from the mini fiddle yard all the way down to this fiddle yard. Finally, for those of you who don't know Berringer and are tuning in for the first time or so, Berringer is an analogue layout, and it's in my studio flat, and currently it just runs around virtually the whole of my studio flat, barring the bathroom. So the next part of it is going to be to show you the sounds that I'm going to be creating, realistic, authentic sounds for my Class 47s, my 50s and all the other locos that I have, without it actually being DCC at all, and also ambient sounds and audio clips that you can get to create an authentic running session. I mean, when I run my running sessions on my own, I mean, obviously I don't go through all the hassle of doing the sounds and everything, because I'm quite happy without it, to be honest with you, because I live in a flat, so I've got to consider everybody else. But for the viewing public, it's more interest to have sounds and things like that. It adds to the reality of it, and so I'm going to be experimenting with that, and hopefully you'll let me know in due course what your thoughts are. You'll see a brief clip in the intro. Actually, you would have heard the Class 50, and that is basically the sort of technique that I will be using. So hopefully you'll sort of catch a glimpse as to what I'm going to try and achieve with some of my running sessions. And also, before I let you go, I'm also going to do some wiring, which is, you know, not fancy. It's very difficult to update you on wiring because it's very difficult to show you what it is I'm doing. But basically, I'm just going to be improving the electrics, making it more, not wouldn't say user friendly, but more, I guess, more practical and convenient for me to use. And so there's all these little bits that I'm going to be doing, so there's plenty to be getting on with. And also hopefully there'll be some new rolling stock as well, both in terms of locos, wagons hopefully, and also possibly another EMU of some description. But I guess if that comes to fruition, that will turn up. So these are all things to look forward to within the next few months, weeks and months at Berringer. And I haven't got a layout update as I've been working terribly hard recently. But when I have something to update you with, you will be the first to know. So thanks for watching, and feel free to comment and subscribe, and I will speak to you soon. Bye for now.